Hey everybody, I'm Griffin here, and welcome back to the Solus project. We fell down here, and by fell I mean I decided to explore down here and was incorrect about it being the place I needed to go. And yeah, now we have to try and get out, which shouldn't be too hard. But we need to continue our way back to the surface world with the energy source for our transmitter that we have so kindly taken from one of the balls. Alright. Okay, this looks promising. Alright, the torch seems to be enough. That rock is hovering. I'm just gonna presume that that's a bug. I mean, I'm pretty sure we need to go up, so up it is. I think we're actually in familiar place now. In a familiar place now. It's been a while since I've been here, so I don't 100% recognize it. Now I'm doubtful. Now I'm doubtful, but we're gonna have to endure at least one loading screen, and two if I was wrong. I don't... See, now I'm thinking that's where we actually came out of, but... Because I know we came down into that pit. This is why... this is why breaking on a relatively unknown path between episodes might not have been the wisest idea. But hopefully this load will not take too long. Even though this game does take a good bit of time to load, that's probably the only real, like, detrimental to gameplay downside of the game, is just the amount of time you spend in loading screens, which still isn't that bad. It's not that bad. The only loading screens that you guys haven't been privy to is the ones for getting into the game, which are about as long as the ones that are between these. But it just means that I sit here and wait for just a little bit. Yeah, goddammit. That was my bad, guys. Twas my bad. I should have realized that with the forward vector being not towards the thing that said it was going to end or move us out of that area, that we were going to end up going the wrong way. So at least I'm 100% sure now that this is where we came from originally. Although it seemed odd that, I guess it's just odd that we went down, but I guess, see, I explored the cavern that I think that we're in. If it's the cavern that I think it is, we explored it a good bit, and I did not find this. Now it's quite possible that this just wasn't there before. Because obviously if you found it, it seems really odd to me that you'd be able to find it. Like if you were just exploring. Like that would be bad. Because you're not supposed to get down that way. Was it blocked off in any way? It was. The doors were blocked off, so you could have found it and gotten to the doors, but that would have been really bad. Like, that just kind of sucks, because there's no way around that at that point. It's a better way of going downstairs. Oh, imminent starvation? We're not at imminent dehydration yet. Alright, so forward vector's that way. Yeah, I basically just went exactly the wrong way. Wait. Okay, just making sure I wasn't seeing things. That is in fact a giant beetle. Oh god, I'm in water. Oh, mistakes have been made. Mistakes have been made. Uh-oh. I have been invited to play Rocket League. This is the one downside to making that visible. Okay, I need to get out the heating device, or we're gonna get hypothermic real fast.
Warning. Operator cold and wet.
We are at 33.
Temperature dropping.
When we get to like 10%, I'll go ahead and switch back to the torch. I'm not moving right now. It's way too light. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait until it's at 0. Alright. Okay, good. This is ice. Oh, that was the ice that was cracking. No, it's not. This is just okay, this is just another way. With doors that we obviously couldn't get through before. Oh. Oh, hello. Is that the shield that I left? Alright, well. Let's avoid those traps. And just keep moving. Come on. Gotta have to aim a little bit off to the side. Yeah, we scanned those. Yep, I've been here before. Although, I'll be honest, I don't... Actually, I don't remember these statues. Whatever, man. Just gonna keep hitting save relics. And running. Just secrets. I guess you already knew that. See, I can turn around. Oh man, this is the third loading screen in 10 minutes. Not even 10 minutes. I do apologize for all the loading, but that area was much shorter with that shortcut, turns out. We just started significantly close, but it was locked behind a door, so that cavern was actually a different cavern than the one I thought it was, which is fine. It just was very similar. But then again, you know, the inside of caves can only look so different. They are rocks, after all. That's why caving is dangerous sometimes. Sometimes, not always. You can just have really open caves. That's the thing. I mean, obviously these caves are almost like burrowed level, like quality. Like finding a cave, that's flowy, and like, I mean, yeah, they put in ladders. It's just kind of, I kind of just assume that they, you know, dug that hole. All right, let's see how many tower parts are here. 0 tower parts. Okay. Yeah, we read that. Turn to the ice pits? I mean, wasn't that the ice pit? They're getting very specific with our vectors now. We're actually running a little low on water. I'll have to fill up next chance I get. If I remember to. Oh my gosh, this took so long. Oh yeah, all the creepy shit. I remember the creepy shit. Alright, we gotta finish the communication tower. Let's not step on bear traps, shall we? Well, it's not terribly cold in here, but it's definitely cold. Those look like the I'm going to kill you plants. But they didn't, so... Running out of stamina here. We spent enough time on this planet. It's time to get all the tower parts in GTFO. Forward vector for. Oh, good. Okay, I'm gonna slow down a little bit so we can run through Spiky Cave here. Don't even want to look back. Jumping upstairs is faster than running up them. Okay, I heard water. I'm gonna go ahead and fill up. Okay. Just to make sure that we're filled up. We could have taken a drink from there too, but we're doing pretty good, so. Okay, 0 tower parts. Alright, we need to deposit the tower parts that we have. That would be optimal. And then from there, I guess we have to scour everywhere that we didn't already look for the remaining tower parts. Because I know we didn't get everything on the way. We definitely left some tower parts behind. So we're basically going to have to go all the way back to the start and then come all the way back to the communications tower. Which hopefully won't take that long because I won't be driven to explore as I have already done so. As I said, were I this character, I would be already less inclined to explore because as the computer is keen to remind us, our success determines the success of the human race here, which is of course very bad. However, especially now that I will have, you know, gotten this energy source, made presumable contact with the technologically advanced, slightly murderous and of questionable ethics. Ooh, the Messiah. I don't even know what that is. Probably because I'm coming back with the energy source. But yeah, like just, oh wait. Let's check how many tower parts we got. 3 tower parts. Okay. That's a lot of tower parts that I missed. But yeah, having seen all that, I'd be so done. I'd be so ready to be off this planet. I now have to have a movie hero level determination here. But what's amazing is that I now have... Hey, buddy. Sorry they did this to you, dude. Hey, it's fucking hot as shit. Guess what? I've got a cold device. So y'all can suck it. Connection established. Remember, we can get transmissions, we can't send them out.
Most of the decks have turned on each other now. Hoarding food. The hydroponics lab is all but shut down. We're running out of water. Space is right outside, waiting. We can't survive out here. The fuel will only last us days, maybe hours. Then we're trapped. Trapped for good. Solus 3, we need you to do this. We need you to finish your job. The signals from the satellite suggest you might still be alive. But I don't know if I can trust it. I don't know. Save us if you can.
Well, it looks like we found some tower parts here. There were little beacons. Yeah, we saw this. At least I thought we did. Cat. I guess we didn't see this. They told us as scientists that our families could be saved if there was any room left, is what they said. I told myself that a small chance to save my family was better than nothing. I'm the oldest one on this ship, the only one who was on Earth. Interesting. Okay. So, as as I certainly mentioned, as we continue to send our recordings back to Earth, I cannot help but to think about everyone on Earth, the ones who are left behind. Who are we really doing this for ourselves, for the future of humanity, or for the delusionist elite? Presumably there were air quotes around that. Alright, so there's another part over there. I don't think this is all the parts. I don't think we just missed these. I think we missed quite a few. So we've got some work to do. But I saw the last little beacon. I wonder if those always gave off the little beacons. Oh, well, we might as well drop off stuff here. Since it's literally right here. There's no reason not to. Wait. No, we have them all. That's weird. Or no, we're one short. We're one short. It's the one over there. Wait, are we finishing the game right now? Movie hero level of determination. There it is, the last tower part. I guess we didn't miss any in the other zones. There were just 3 here, and those were the only ones that I remember seeing that you missed it for. Oh man. I was not expecting this game to be done this episode. And I guess technically it might not be still, but this is not the level of progress I was expecting. Initiate connection. Achievement unlocked. Man, I sure hope they ain't all dead. Where are you? Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Please return to communication tower.
Let's hope this works. Quantum entanglement, don't fail me now.
I get to look around.
Hello. Can anybody read me? This is Octavius Sken with the Solus 3 detachment on Gliese 6143C.
Oh, this is Gliese.
Can anybody hear me?
Did somebody say something?
Yes. Hello, this is Analyst Sken from Solus 3. Do you read me?
Ken? From Solus 3?
Yes, it's me. Thank God. It's Sken. I'm alive.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What are you doing here?
I think it's Solus 3. I think they're reporting it. Sken. Sken, it's good to hear from you. Oh, what's your status?
I'm
I
okay.
don't like
I'm okay. The planet is okay. I'm transferring you data now. But listen, I don't know how much time I have. I'm not alone here.
The rest of the team are with you?
No. They didn't make it. They're all gone. Listen, I've been here for countless days, and I've been finding things. Signs of life, civilization. Things are alive on this planet.
Whoa, slow down. Can you repeat that?
I crash-landed here days ago. We were hit by something in orbit. I've been finding signs of life, potentially hostile.
Alien life. So Gliese can support life.
Yes, it can. I'm sending you the data now, but please, listen to me.
It's getting
There is
closer.
life, possibly even more advanced than us. I don't know if they're trying to help me or harm me. There are traps, sacrificial chambers, signs of
They're going to
genocide.
blow up the transmitter.
But I found an alternative. Another planet which is closer to you, possibly safer. The coordinates are 3 KPC. Hello? Can you hear me? No, this can't be happening.
Well,
Can you hear me?
that's a lovely string of numbers. Well, here they are.
You cut my connection.
Yep, they want us
Is
to
this
come here.
what you wanted?
Lovely.
What are you?
Well, I'm not going to say I'm surprised by this, but I don't think we're done yet. I think we now must concoct a daring escape in an attempt to recontact the survivors of Earth in order to inform them of what we were actually trying to say. The planet that is closer to them and more habitable. Hopefully we have not been asleep for so long that they have already burned most, if not all of their fuel, or at least more than would be required to actually make it back to that other planet. Remember, movie hero level of determination.
Hello? Is anyone there?
That's a picture of Earth.
What?
You are a douchebag, so...
What is that? Wait, no!
Oh, goody. Back asleep. Nope. See, that's just... No, that's creepy. That's bad. So, now we're gonna get to watch our ship get shot down by their ship. Or from the planetary cannon. I did supposedly send them data. Maybe it was enough. Maybe this is the bad ending. I don't know how there would be a good ending. Maybe I'll have to do some research. Yep, that is the credit sequence. So, I will be very honest. I did not expect the end of the game to be this episode. I really didn't. I don't know what to say. I do like the story. The concept of Earth being basically in apocalypse mode and leaving some people there, sending some people to try and find a new habitable place. I feel like there was a lot of good backstory in terms of the relationships between the people. I will admit that because I was reading those aloud, when I read things aloud, I don't absorb it as well as if I was just reading it to myself. So, based on that, I'm not as... Like, I don't feel like I'm as fluent in what actually happened in the backstory of this game. Obviously, they were sending stuff back to Earth, which, as we were reading it at the time, we didn't realize Earth was basically dead. We weren't 100% sure, but at that point, it's basically... That's what we accept it to be at this point, after having heard the actual story of what happened to Earth. So, the fact that we were sending data back seems a little silly. They were doing the psych evaluation things. That's an odd place for the credits to end. I don't want to click. But yeah, the story there definitely felt like there was a lot to it. And there was a lot of writing that went into that. Now, some of it, I'm not a good judge of writing. I was entertained by it. And I think that's what counts more than anything else. To me, at least. And either it's frozen here. Oh, nope. I don't know if it's going to actually do anything from here. Oh, it's going to fade out. Alright. So, as I was saying, I feel like the story back there is pretty good. I don't know if this loading screen is just going to take me back to the menu, or if it... Yep, back to the menu. Alright, so, I am going to do some research on the Solus project, and I'll maybe make a wrap-up video If there's anything extra content, something like that, maybe I'll do something along those lines. I'm not going to go back and like get 100%. I'm not going to do that. There's a lot of Easter eggs that I'm sure I missed. There's definitely a lot of artifacts I missed. There's no way I was close to 100%. Unless that is the requirement for the good ending. I have a feeling that this is the ending that was inevitable. I didn't quite guess that was exactly what was going to happen, but it felt very odd that they were helping me and also being really dangerous and stuff. There was also a lot of cool backstory with the previous C7, D9, one of those, whichever race they called it, that we found, a whole bunch of dead ones on the planet. Yeah, so not great there in terms of the future of the human race. We might just be getting wiped out by this advanced alien species trying to understand why the balls have power. And take that sentence out of context all you like. So we'll see. I'll definitely get back to you guys, but for now, I think this might be it for the Solus project. Next week might just be a new game, and I don't even know what it'll be. So yeah, I enjoyed myself pretty thoroughly. I definitely think that the atmosphere of the game is very well done. I would have loved to play this in VR. I think it would have been very engaging, but I haven't had the chance. Maybe I'll revisit it if I ever acquire some VR stuff. But that is something to be seen later on. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode and this game. I will see you next time, whether it be Solus Project or something different. But until then, keep your gears turning. Alright, so I'm actually going to tack this on to the end of the last episode since it wasn't particularly long. I did my research. I just did some checking out right here. Did some research online, did some Googling to find out that there are no alternate endings to the Solus project. So the ending that we saw is the ending that was intended. Now, I have to admit there were a lot of debates online about whether or not it's a good ending or a bad ending, but I will leave that to you, the viewer, to decide for yourself. Now, what I will say about this game is, as my wrap-up, as it were, since I don't have any other episodes to be doing for it, I'm not going to, as I said, like, probably 10 to 30 seconds ago for you guys, I'm not planning on doing 100% on this one, trying to get all the pieces of paper and all the stuff laying around. Just, it's not worth the time for the reward, I think. A couple of achievements normally might get me, but there's just so much. The world is so big. And that said, that's the first compliment. This game is huge. It took us a decent number of episodes, first off, and second off, the land, even though the game has relatively linear paths, they have a waypoint for you to go to, and if you follow that waypoint, you'll probably be okay. There's a couple of times that you have to deviate in a little bit of an open world, but overall, it's a relatively linear game. And yet, it didn't explicitly feel that way. In retrospect, I can obviously say that, yeah, you want to go straight for the thing and just go. And some of the artifacts and whatnot were not particularly impressive. Like, I didn't notice when we picked up an artifact that, oh, suddenly I'm more resistant to hypothermia or starvation. Like, those things didn't necessarily jump at me. I didn't see those benefits immediately, which, is unfortunate, but there's so many of them, and they're supposed to be, something that you go out of your way to find, that I can understand them not being huge, because if you just put a few of them in there, then because it's such a big world, those become very hard to find, and you basically have to cut down on the amount of open world exploration that you allow, because most of the open world exploration in the game led you to artifacts or backpacks or extra story elements. That's what it gave you, and to take one of those subsections of artifacts and suddenly reduce the number of them but increasing their power, it takes a good number of those extra paths out of the game or makes them empty. And there were some empty paths and empty ways to explore in the game, and I'm totally okay with that too. You don't want something down every corner or every corridor. You want there to be some discretion. But to make even more of it empty, I think would have been a mistake. Not to mention that if you then did go through and find them, and you noticed very much that, oh man, I really noticed that this made me more powerful or more resistant to everything, or even if just the number felt big enough, like if one of the artifacts was 10% instead of 1%, I feel like maybe placebo effect, but you'd be like, oh man, 10%? That's a good chunk. I should really be looking for these. And the game is, because of the plot, I feel like you're pushed to explore out of your own creativity. Like your own desire for that exploration is what makes you explore. And obviously, I have that in spades, for better or worse. I really like to explore that stuff, and it got me into trouble a couple times there. And obviously, I took a lot longer. As I mentioned at the end of that episode, if I had actually been trying to save, a species, I probably wouldn't have explored nearly as much. It really was this is a game, there's not an actual timer there, so I can explore a little bit. Obviously, some of it was, I don't know if I'm going exactly the right way, so I'm going to be exploring in this direction. So, all those different combinations of elements of motivation on how to explore, where to explore, and how far to explore, kind of all fell into a decent balance for me, I think. We got a good chunk of the story. Like, I know we missed some stuff. I could go into the journal and find out exactly how much, but I don't think it's particularly important. But I could do that. And then we also found a decent bit of artifacts. We found some upgrades. We didn't find all the backpacks, much to my chagrin, because how much I wanted backpacks. We found some really odd stuff, like the alien skull you could eat for health, or chew on for health. We found a boombox. Like, granted, the boombox was easy to find, but just the diversity of items that you could find was pretty nice. And the exploration gave it a good taste that even if you explored the wrong way or went the wrong way, because the waypoint wasn't always 100% clear. You can't always just point your cursor at the waypoint and run at it and find it. But there was a lot of cool mystery involved, a lot of suspense of what's really going on here. And maybe it's only as the person playing that becomes particularly strong. I don't know how this game watches, to be honest. But that enjoyment, I think, came from that balance of exploration and motivation to get your tasks done. And those artifacts were well spread out in terms of power level and location in terms of how numerous they were. I think that was good balance. And I've kind of already distracted myself from what I was going to say, but I really did enjoy that aspect of the balance and the exploration. As for the actual plot, yes, it was a bit confusing. Yes, they did do a good job of forcing some points on you if you chose not to read anything and just run through it. But I think that this game is supposed to appeal to the person who wants to read those things and find out the plot. Yes, it makes things a little bit slower. Yeah, it got a little weird sometimes, but overall, I think the idea behind the story was decent. There was definitely some debate, like, oh man, I think that this plot is really just out there. The developers just had no idea what they were doing. They just kind of were writing, and they got so wrapped up in what they were doing in terms of the details. But that means that the plot suffered for it. And all that debate aside, I think the idea was fun. I think it was cool. I think it was it was motivational. Like, they did a good job of, like, starting to paint that picture. Now, obviously, as the player, we didn't know what happened to Earth. And I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. There was that, like, we're sending stuff back to Earth, and we don't really know what that means. And then we find out later that we're sending stuff back to Earth, but Earth is basically gone. We're kind of doing it just to keep up the appearance. I don't know if our character already knew that. I presume that he did. I could be wrong, obviously, but I presume that that's, like, decent knowledge because it was in those documents. Once again, could be wrong. But that said, kind of ignoring some of that, the way it was presented to us as the player was good. And it kind of slowly amped up that shock factor there was pretty good. and the mystery of the other species that was already dead and the sky ones. I will admit that some of those lores got a little bit wordy and a little bit odd because of the names, and so I didn't retain a bunch of them, but the general gist of what was going on was relatively clear. There was a second species, and there was the god, what they were basically treating as gods, the sky ones. I mean, that's a pretty good name for a species you think is a god. And those, like the rebellion, like those painted a decent picture, and while some of it wasn't perfectly clear, if you were running through this world and trying to read stuff, maybe it wouldn't be. I definitely liked a lot of that. I liked the way that was presented. And you are more than welcome to disagree with me. Do not take my word as law here. If you have an opinion that you really want to share, please leave it in the comment section down below. I would love to interact with you guys about this one. I definitely would like to see a sequel where maybe we're a different character trying to save everybody from the Sky Ones. However, that doesn't really fit into this genre. I suppose it could, but it seems rather odd. Sorry, I'm making hand gestures and shrugs here. Like, the exploration mystery, like that genre doesn't really fit with what that would be, because that would be kind of more. I mean, you could find a way to do it, I'm sure, but I would definitely like to see more from the story. I'd like to see maybe even the redemption of our character who accidentally led the entire human race to their demise. Well, presumably their demise. We know that the Sky Ones basically put down the other species. They left them to die, but humans are pretty resourceful. Like, we managed to survive, and obviously we're an advanced race. We may not be as advanced as them, but maybe it's despite the fact that they managed to sound very, very ominous there. I mean, the other species that they were experimenting on basically was Neanderthals. I mean, obviously they had language and stuff, but compared to them is what Neanderthals are probably compared to us, the Sky Ones being them in this situation. Just the advanced technology. And while obviously the Sky Ones are more advanced than humans in this situation, perhaps there is a way for us to see eye to eye with them. I mean, they're a little weird, let's be honest. As somebody was pointing out, they were using staves with balls of light on the end. So, rather odd level of technology. And they did a lot of repurposing of the CRTs that were presumably on the craft there. So, as I said, all in all, I enjoyed this game. I enjoyed my experience with it. I would definitely like to see more in this lore. Presumably going forward, I don't think there's a particular reason to go back. I could see the possibility of a different... Oh wow, sorry, the starting screen reset. I could definitely see the possibility of a different planet being explored as an option, but I don't think you would be able to really get the same sort of feeling, because you'd either have a planet with nothing on it, which would be silly, like there wouldn't be a mystery, or you'd have to find some way to basically kill off that character before they manage to be like, hey, we found some place, because then this one would never happen. Who knows? I think there's a lot of potential here. I'd like to see if more stuff comes out for this plot line, but for now, there's not much more to be done for it. So next week, there will be a new game in the Solus Project's stead. This episode will have finale tagged on it, and I don't know. I think this is just a great place to just kind of call it and say, you know, close the book on the Solus Project. It was a lot of fun, and I would like to see more. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as much as I did. For the second time in this episode, I will sign off by saying thank you all for watching. I hope you very much enjoyed this one, and if you did, I hope you picked it up and played it yourself a little bit. Maybe don't let me spoil all of it, but either way, I will see you next time, and until then, keep your gears turned.